Corona Warning App. 5 facts you should know.
The governments of Europe and the world agree. The Corona app is intended to save us from future pandemics and break chains of infection. So-called tracing apps for smartphones were developed with tens of millions of taxpayers' money and are ready for use. Now, the challenge is to have the Bluetooth app radiate everywhere so that all the devices in the vicinity of a user can communicate with each other. And then, as if by magic, you receive a request to put yourself into quarantine. How trustworthy are these Corona warning apps, and what can we expect in the future? KLA TV has compiled 5 facts in this program that you shouldn't miss. Spread this broadcast widely among your friends and acquaintances so that we don't wake up in a cell phone app dictatorship before it's too late.
The promised voluntary nature. Completely leaving aside the questions regarding data protection and data security, tracing apps serve as a further component for total control and management of citizens. We are getting used to making our mobile phone available for government plans at any time and to following the instructions from technical devices. Without questioning it, we give up our personal responsibility. Today, a voluntary app for contact tracing, tomorrow a compulsory app, and next an RFID chip beneath the skin. A government which has turned voluntary vaccination into compulsory vaccination promises us a voluntary Corona app. Can we trust this promise? A German government which said, "There will be no car toll as long as I'm in office," then signed a law to introduce the car toll in early 2019.
How long will it take until you are only allowed to leave the house with an activated Corona app? When will access to the restaurant, the stadium, and the supermarket only be possible with an activated Corona app? When will it only be possible to buy and sell if you have an RFID chip in your right hand or forehead? Voluntary today, compulsory tomorrow? To illustrate this with a familiar parable, if you throw a frog into a pot of hot water, it jumps out instantly. But if you put a frog into a pot of lukewarm water, it will remain, even if you heat the water very slowly to boiling point, ending in death. Insidious constraints, compulsory vaccination, total surveillance, internet censorship, mobile phone surveillance, etc., etc. Is the water in the pot already boiling?
The highly praised data security. In April 2020, the German federal government planned a Corona app, which would centrally store and evaluate all mobile phone movement data. To stick with the frog parable, this would have been too quick heating up of the water in the pot. Around 300 international scientists signed an open letter to Federal Minister Spahn. Among them was the Chaos Computer Club, the largest European hacker association. They wrote that the planned Corona app was extremely problematic. The German government backed off and chose a decentralized approach. Since then, widespread criticism of the app has fallen silent. In other words, we still can live in the cooking pot. Technology giants like Google and Apple even praise the Corona app. All data remains on the personal device. That is their promise. Why are Google and Apple, 2 giant corporations that cover almost 100% of the smartphone market, suddenly so full of praise? The actions of these billion-dollar corporations have already demonstrated why. Google and Apple activated an interface on all mobile phones in advance without the user's consent to pave the way for the Corona app. The Corona app in the German-speaking countries was programmed open source. That means any expert or layman can view the program code of the Corona app. This feels reassuring, but this is a deceptive assurance. What is hidden behind the Google and Apple interface remains a secret and in the hands of billion-dollar corporations. And exactly this interface is the most decisive part of data evaluation.
Auch sonst sieht es bezüglich
The outlook for data protection and security is anything but rosy. For example, if you install the Corona Warning app on an Android phone, you have to share the GPS location data. Why is that? The federal government is appeasing by claiming that there was no other technical solution and that the app does not use the GPS location data, even if you do have to release it. Interesting. How do Google, Apple & Co. use the activated GPS location data? With the smartphone manufacturers, who were apparently able to activate a new interface on all mobile phones without consent, not be able to find a technical solution to the problem? Why activate a data protection critical function on the mobile phone, which it allegedly does not need for the app? Serge Vodnet, professor of cryptography at the Swiss National Institute of Technology in Lausanne, further points out that there are massive security flaws on the Swiss COVID app, for example. He has submitted a report to the Federal Office of Information Technology, Systems and Telecommunication that the internationally recognized Swiss model app has drastic data protection shortcomings. Third parties could easily track the phones. According to the professor, if the anonymous data is compared with that of third parties, the identity of the user can be easily found out.
Reliable results are controversial. Whether the Corona Warning app delivers reliable results is controversial among developers and technical experts. The Chaos Computer Club writes, "The desired application of Bluetooth technology is new and completely untested to this extent. In many sources, you read that this technology can easily detect a distance of 2 meters. However, Bluetooth experts like Alexander Heinrich consider this far too optimistic. Heinrich is a research assistant at the Institute for Mobile Device Safety in Darmstadt, Germany. The distance measuring doesn't really work well, he said in an interview, and the reason for the problems with distance measurement is a large number of different mobile phone models. The signal strength provides only very limited information about the actual distance to the emitter, he said. Also, whether the mobile phones are in your pocket or held in your hand has an influence on the strength of the signals. The researchers came to the conclusion the realistic measured distance of the tracing apps can be up to 8 meters. If these statements from experts were true, the app would be doomed to failure from the outset.
One thing is certain, even if the Corona Warning app were not successful, it will still serve as a pathfinder for higher goals. Governments will demand better measurement and positioning techniques, culminating in extremely precise positioning systems for new devices. It would also be conceivable to additionally declare GPS location evaluation as indispensable. Observe critically what the future brings.
The microwave in your pocket. Renowned scientists have already proven years ago, in more than 30,000 extensive studies and publications, that mobile communications radiation has seriously harmful, even up to fatal effects on humans, animals, and the environment. For example, a study by the University of Haifa confirms that mobile phones in men's pants pocket damage their fertility. Doctors are currently puzzling why there is an increase in testicular cancer among young men. It seems obvious that mobile phone radiation, incidentally at the same frequency as a microwave device, can change the cell structure of the genitals. The mobile phone manufacturers protect themselves in their manuals by demanding safety distances of up to 1 meter. But who uses his smartphone with this safety distance in everyday life?
Against all better knowledge, new app systems are being developed which cause permanent harmful radiation. The Corona Warn app uses Bluetooth on the frequency bands between 2.4 and 2.485 GHz for mobile phone tracking. So another permanent source of radiation is added and endangers the health of the population, in addition to the already highly dangerous radiation from microwaves, Wi-Fi, etc. If you think about the suffering of mankind caused by mobile communications radiation, it seems like a really bad, cynical joke that the Corona app is supposed to be about the health of the population.
Living smarter without a smartphone.
Study shows constantly checking your smartphone makes you unhappy. Whoever does not have a mobile phone is considered exotic today, but can rediscover skills such as presence, tolerance, and intuition. Don't care about smartphones? This 27-year-old is happy with her old Nokia. Smartphone makes you unhappy. The more time teenagers spend in front of the screen, the more unhappy they are. Without a smartphone, life is healthier, more relaxed, and also smarter. Because without the constant control and paternalism of such dictatorship apps, personal responsibility, self-determination, and intuition are promoted again. Share your knowledge about the Corona app with your friends. It concerns all of us. Thanks a lot.